the business. How you doing? Welcome back to this next episode of Reading with SHILO. What's up, baby? I'm SHILO. I'm out here, ready to read some stuff. Ready to get to rolling through the sea of pages of the book of PATRICE O'Neal by Khaled Izaac. Man, I'm ready to get to rowing. Row, row. I'm gonna be rolling through it. Might go faster. Oh, it's rowing. All I know is I'm about to row through the sea of pages. But before we do all that, man, I gotta get the routine going. We gotta work our body before we work our mind. But I'm ready to work my mind. I want to read. I want to jump in that thing. Let me in the boat. Let me row. I want to row. And I like when I feel like that. Let me row. Let me read. I'll read. I'll read. I like when I feel like reading. I like when I feel like reading. But, oh, yes, indeed, what we needed. All right. Anyway, we're going to do 25 things. That's what I ask of you. Get your ass up. Get up. Get up. 25 things we got to build our body, man. Build our body. It's part of the progression. Part of the progression and the building of the habits that is trying to be formed, or that we should be trying to be formed. To be better us, healthier us. You got to be able to get up, move. You never know what will happen, man. You might have to do something. You might have to save somebody, put a hand out. I got you. Get up out that hole. You might have to get yourself out. You know, your children out. So, hey, let's build ourselves up. Let's prepare ourselves for anything. Me, I want to have fun. I want to be able to climb trees with my boys till they old. I want to be able to move around. My papa, 91 years old, man. He's still hunting and fishing and moving and in the garden and building and shit. And I want to be able to do the same thing. So we have to work our body and keep it moving. So 25 things, that's all I'm asking of you. 25 things. But me, I got my mind on doing something today, so I'm doing 50, man. I'm going to do 50. You know, you can do your 25. That's all I'm asking. 25 something. I'm going to do push-ups. That's what I'm doing. Push-ups. That's what I'm doing. Yeah, baby, let's do something. Get your ass up. It's time to do something. All right. 25. Hurry up. Get your ass up and do something. 25 things. Let's build our body so we can build our mind. Build our body so we can build our mind. 25 things. Let's go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 14, 18, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37, 38, 39, 42. What you doing? 43, 44, 45, 46, 47, 48, 49, 50, 51, 52, 53, 54, 55, 56, 57, 58, 59, 6. Come on. 52. Oh, man. 62. I feel it for sure. I feel it. Don't cheat yourself. Don't cheat yourself. Do 25. That's all I ask you to do. Don't worry about how many I'm doing. You do 25. Do 25 things. I'm going to do how many I want to do. 62. 63, 64, 65, 66, 67, 68, 69, 70, 1, 2, 3, 4, 75. Oh, I did 75. I did 75 of them bad boys. I think I'm going to keep going. I'm going to push I'm going to get me 25 more. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. What up, everybody? Shalom. Get your 25 things in. 6. So that way, it ain't no stopping once I get to rowing. 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Let's get it. 14. Push it up. 15, push up. Get up, 16. Get up, 17. Get up, 18. Get up, 19. Get up, 20. Let's get it. Keep going. Get up. 21, get up. 22, get up. 23, get up. 24, get up. 25, one more. Get your ass up. Ah, there we go. I'm in that thing. I'm in that thing. Let's go. What am I doing? I'm working my body before we get ready to work our mind. It's part of the routine. Do something. 25 somethings before we get to reading. 25 somethings before we get to reading. For you, whatever it is that you can do, just something to make you move. Something to get your body going and moving. Work your body, work your mind, and we're going to work our body on the end. Do 25 things, whatever it is. I just felt like doing something. More than what my normal was. Whew. But, yeah. That's what's up. Yeah, but the purpose is not necessarily, I'm not trying to start a workout channel. I'm just trying to read. I'm just trying to build a better habit. Build a better habit so I can be better. Because I have all that I need to succeed. All I need to do is apply. But, okay, we done worked our body. Now let's work our mind. In the book of Patrice O'Neill, based on the philosophy of Black Phillips by Mr. Khaled Izaac. We left off yesterday. This is part 4. Part 4. We left off yesterday on a woman interrupts statements about women in a woman interprets statements about women in general as directed at her personally. That's where we left off yesterday. So that's where we'll begin. We'll see, or last night, early this morning, whatever it was, the last episode. We'll see how far we can get this time. How far can we get in this session, this rowing session, as we roll through the sea of pages? All praises, all praises. Let's go, let's go, let's go. Ooh-wee, what is going to be? Let's jump into it. Water. Yeah, there we go. A woman interprets statements about women in general as directed at her personally. You talk about women in general, and the first thing a woman will say, it's not me. Like she's the exception to the rule. They can't help but take it personal. Patrice O'Neill. One of the more insightful observations about women is their tendency to take statements made about women as a group and interpret them as personal attacks. Patrice often pointed out that when discussing women in general, individual women will internalize these comments, comparing them to how they see themselves. This reaction stems from a combination of overestimating their self-awareness and assuming they have complete self-knowledge. When a woman hears a general statement about women, she tends to believe she speaks for and represents women as a whole. If she agrees with the statement, she'll nod along, feeling validated in her perspective. However, if she disagrees, you're likely to see one of two common responses. A, she'll argue that women are like that, basing her statement on how she sees herself. The classic line, "Not all women are like that," becomes her go-to defense. This response is rooted in her belief that she's aware enough to know that the generalized statement doesn't apply to her or, by extension, to women in general. B, alternately, she may acknowledge that the statement might be true for some women, but insists that she's the exception to the rule. This leads to a harmonious contradiction where this leads to a humorous contradiction where a woman simultaneously believes she's just like all women, hence her tendency to personalize general statements, and yet also thinks she's different when it comes to anything negative. Patrice would highlight this cognitive dissonance as a natural part of how women process information about themselves and their gender. On one hand, they want to be seen as unique and individual, but on the other, they can't help but react defensively when women as a group are critiqued. This duality creates a kind of mental gymnastics where a woman can argue that a generalization doesn't apply to her while also feeling personally attacked by it. This cognitive dissonance is something men need to understand when dealing with women. It's not about whether the generalization is true or not. What matters is how it's received. When a woman hears something about women in general, she's likely to run it through the filter of her own experience and self-perception, leading her to react defensively, even if the statement wasn't aimed at her personally. New Year's is not until the springtime. Shalom. Patricia's wisdom here is that when you're talking about women in a group or as a group, be prepared for the inevitable, not me response. It's a natural defense mechanism that comes from the complex way women relate to their gender as a whole, while also striving to maintain their individuality. Understanding this can help men navigate conversations more effectively, knowing when to push forward and when to let things go depending on the reaction they get. Ultimately, Patrice's insight is that women's responses to generalizations are less about the accuracy of the statement and more about their personal identification with it. Recognizing this pattern can help men avoid unnecessary arguments and instead focus on the broader point being made, rather than being bogged down in individual exceptions. A woman will never be one of the boys or like a guy. A woman will never be one of the boys or like a guy. You can't hang with the fellas because the second something rubs you the wrong way, you're going to derail the whole conversation. That's why you're not invited to the cookout. Patrice O'Neal. One of the hard truths Patrice often shared is that women like or women will never truly be one of the boys. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Go ahead. Men generally don't welcome women into their discussions, not because they dislike them, but because the dynamic inevitably changes when a woman is present. When men are talking among themselves, the conversation flows in a way that's often rooted in logic, banter, and a shared understanding of the unspoken rule of male communication. But when a woman enters the mix, things tend to go off the rails. Women by nature often approach conversations from an emotional standpoint. If something a man says strikes a woman as displeasing or offensive, she's likely to object and derail the conversation, even if what was said wasn't meant to be taken personally. Women might not always grasp the underlying structure of the discussion, the context, the camaraderie, the subtle jabs that men understand intuitively. Instead, they focus on the aesthetic of what's being said, leading to the misunderstandings. Patrice would explain that when this happens, the original topic often gets lost, and instead of continuing the conversation as intended, the men now have to backtrack and explain themselves, clarifying the inaccuracies of her presumptions. This process is exhausting and frustrating for men who feel like they're being forced to babysit the conversation rather than engage in it freely. This is why, despite a woman's natural curiosity or desire to be included, she is often unwelcome in the boys' club. It's not about exclusion for the sake of it. It's about maintaining the flow of conversation without unnecessary interruptions or emotional interjections. Men don't want to constantly monitor their words or explain every offhand comment. They want to communicate freely without the need for emotional hand-holding. And having discussions that require rigorous thinking, unfiltered humor, or sharp wit necessarily excludes the kind of emotional cushioning that women often need to feel comfortable participating. This doesn't mean men hate women or don't value their input in other areas. It just means that in certain contexts, the presence of a woman changes the dynamic in a way that isn't conducive to how men naturally interact with each other. Patrice's wisdom here is that the boys' club isn't just for the topics discussed. The boys' club isn't just about the topics discussed. It's about the way they're discussed. When men are among men, there's an unspoken agreement that the conversation will be direct, sometimes harsh, but always rooted in a shared understanding of male communication. Bringing a woman into the environment can disrupt the flow, making it harder for men to engage in the kind of dialogue that they enjoy. This is why, as Patrice would say, we'd like you to leave us alone. When it comes to the boys' club, it's not personal. It's just the way men are wired to communicate. How women argue. How women argue. We can't argue with a woman, man. We can't argue with a woman, man. It's like playing chess with a pigeon. It doesn't matter how good you are. She's going to knock over the pieces, crap on the board, and then strut around like she won. Patrice O'Neal. When you find yourself in a disagreement with a woman, it's important to understand that her approach to arguing is fundamentally different from that of a man. Women often base their arguments on feelings rather than logic, and when their reasoning is challenged, they perceive it as an attack on their emotions and, by extension, their very being. This is because, for many women, if something feels right, it is right, no matter what logic might suggest. Women trust their emotions deeply, often acting on them without restraint or the need to question their validity. When you challenge a woman's opinion, which is usually rooted in her emotional experience, it's not just the argument you're disputing, it's her right to feel. Fuck your feelings. Well, this is why arguments with women often devolve into ego battles rather than productive discussions. She personalizes the debate, making it about her rather than the issue at hand. This is why engaging in a logical argument with a woman can be a futile exercise. Men are inclined to resolve conflicts with reason and evidence, but these tools are often ineffective when faced with a woman's emotional reasoning. And arguing against her feelings is not only difficult, but often pointless, as it doesn't address the emotional foundation of her argument. Instead of yielding the superior logic, a woman may become more entrenched in her position, defending her feelings rather than the facts. And Patrice advised that instead of trying to out-argue a woman, a man should focus on managing her emotions in a way that makes her more cooperative. Arguing with a woman as if she were another man is a mistake, and instead, a man should use charm and subtle influence to steer the conversation. Avoid direct confrontation whenever possible. When conflict is unavailable, he suggested being Machiavellian enough to subtly undermine her position without escalating the emotional stakes. Subtly. He suggested being Machiavellian enough to subtly undermine her position without escalating the emotional stakes. Women are often more interested in winning the argument than in being right, which means they'll use any tactic necessary to come out on top. This includes shaming, passive-aggressive behavior, and playing the victim. If she feels cornered or outmatched, she might resort to personal attacks or crocodile tears to shift the blame and make you look like the bad guy. It's important to recognize these tactics for what they are, tools to derail the conversation and protect her ego. When a woman shames you, attacking your masculinity, your credibility, or questioning your character, it's a sign that you've hit a nerve. Hit dog, holler. If you react emotionally, you're already lost. You've already lost. As she will then use your response to further undermine you. Similarly, when she agrees with you, just to deflect and move the conversation to another topic, it's a way of sidestepping the argument without conceding any ground. Patrice also noted that women often play the victim when they feel their position is weak. Suddenly, the strong, independent persona gives way to, I'm just a girl, and you're being mean. Cue the tears. Action. Oh, man. This tactic is designed to elicit sympathy and make you feel guilty, even if you're in the right. The key is to recognize this manipulation and not fall for it. In the end, Patrice's wisdom teaches the best way to handle an argument with a woman is not to argue at all. Understand that her approach is fundamentally different, and instead of engaging on her terms, focus on managing the emotional dynamics at play. Use charm, subtlety, and influence to guide the conversation and avoid getting pulled into emotional battles that you're unlikely to win. Women are very egotistical. Women need to feel important, and they'll say whatever they need to say, to protect their ego. Don't get caught up in it. Just laugh it off. Patrice O'Neal. Women's egos are closely tied to their emotions, and because emotions play a dominant role in their lives, their ego often drives their actions and words. When you find yourself in an argument with a woman, it's crucial to remember that her primary goal is to maintain her credibility and appear superior to you. This isn't about finding the truth or reaching a logical conclusion. It's about protecting and boosting her ego. A woman will often try to bait you into reacting emotionally because if she can provoke you to anger, she gains the upper hand. She can then use your own words against you, twisting them to make you look irrational or out of control. The key, as Patrice advised, is not to take her seriously. Laugh off her words, because much of what she says is crafted to uplift her mood and bolster her ego rather than to engage in meaningful discourse. Patrice's wisdom teaches that a lot of what women say in these situations is designed to make them feel important and validated. By recognizing this, you can avoid falling into the trap of taking their words at face value and getting drawn into an emotional battle. Instead, maintain your composure, see through the ego-driven nonsense, and keep the upper hand by not letting her words affect you. Women are illogical. Women are illogical. Shalom, everybody. Women are illogical. Shalom, shalom. Women say stuff they feel, not what makes sense. That's why you can never pin them down on anything concrete, because they need room to change their mind when emotions shift. Patrice O'Neal. Women often speak their emotions rather than logic, which leads them to make vague, arbitrary statements that can be difficult to challenge. When you ask a woman a specific question, she'll likely give a vague answer. And this isn't accidental, it's a strategy. By keeping her responses ambiguous, she avoids being pinned down, allowing her to change her mind as her emotions shift. When a woman is vague, it's nearly impossible to attack her point with logic because there's no solid position to refute. However, the moment she comments to a concrete point, it becomes vulnerable to logical analysis, something men excel at. But women tend to avoid this trap by staying non-committal. When pressed into a corner, they often become emotional, throwing out statements that lack reason or consistency. Men, on the other hand, are more likely to provide clear answers backed by logic. Patrice's insight reminds us that women's logic is often fluid and tied to their emotional state, making it challenging to have straightforward, reason-based discussions with them. And understanding this can help men navigate conversations more effectively, recognizing that the goal isn't always to make sense of, but to accommodate the emotional landscape women navigate. Women do not understand context in any argument. Women do not understand context in any argument. Ooh, that thing went down the wrong one. Women hear what they feel, not what you're saying. They'll latch on to a word and miss the whole point. Patrice O'Neal. Excuse me. Women arguing or discussing something with a woman, when arguing or discussing something with a woman, it's common for her to latch onto a specific word or phrase and completely miss the broader context of what's being said. Women often focus on the surface of a statement, interpreting it emotionally rather than understanding the underlying message. This can derail a conversation, leading to misunderstandings and frustration. For example, when Patrice used a dog whisperer metaphor to explain the idea of guiding and training behavior, many women immediately fixated on the word dog, assuming he was comparing women to dogs. They couldn't get past the word itself by grasping the broader analogy he was making about behavior and instincts. In one of his discussions, Patrice explained it like this. Lesson 3, lost in translation. Patrice, have you ever seen the dog whisperer? Woman 2, oh my God, are you comparing us to dogs? Brian, no, I haven't. Patrice, everybody out there has to watch a dog whisperer. Now I know women are innately going to go, oh my God, dogs, women, blah, blah, blah. This is called context. Women don't understand context. Well, you know, in generalizing, I'm generalizing. It's like when people take polls, do they poll everybody? Woman 1, no, you have to take a sample. Patrice, I do field research. So when I say certain things, I'm taking a poll to understand the reaction. So basically, what I'm saying is there has been some research done on it. And I'm not saying all women are like that, but I'm saying all women are like that until it's proven different. And this is why I said the dog whisperer. I'm not saying women are dogs, but her reaction when I said dog whisperer is instinctual. So it's not your fault. When the guy from the dog whisperer comes in, he takes this dog. It's some wild, uncontrollable mess. And the people are like, oh my God, it can't stop. I love this dog. I don't want to put this dog down. I don't want to send this dog away. Now, he's a trainer, like I'm a trainer. We come in and we go, I know how to train this dog. Now, what I'm doing is I'm relating to the dog's behavior, not that you lick your own ass or anything like that. But the fact is, you come in and I can say to the motherfucker, let me show you because I believe in the shit I'm doing. So I take the girl and I do what the dog whisperer does. Woman 1. Let's stay within the context. So what you're saying is men need to train women and work with their instincts instincts and innate type of emotions. Patrice, yes. This exchange illustrates how women can miss the context of an argument, focusing on a specific word or phrase that triggers an emotional response, rather than understanding the overall point being made. Patrice's wisdom here is clear. When talking to women, it's crucial to recognize that they may not always grasp the broader context, leading them to misunderstand or react emotionally. As a man, it's important to be aware of this and guide the conversation back to the main point rather than getting sidetracked by their emotional reactions. Sometimes easier said than done. Oh, Lord, here we go. Even if it's not said, it sure is thought. Oh, God damn it. Oh, shit. Oh, I hit my papa. God damn it, Lily. Oh, God damn it, Lily. Oh, papa, mama. Man, how women defend themselves. Rip the side off this shit. When a woman's losing an argument, she's going to hit you with some wild, emotional stuff to throw you off. But don't fall for it. Just know you've already won. Checkmate. Yeah, it's in the bag, that boy. Patrice O'Neal. Checkmate. That's that little meme from Kanye. Gotcha. When women find themselves under scrutiny, especially in the logical argument, they often resort to emotional tactics to defend themselves. This is because they may lack the ability to stand up to logical reasoning. So they shift the focus away from themselves by using various underhanded methods. And these tactics include, shame, insult, guilt, need to be right. This collection of tactics, often referred to as sign language, is a strategy some women use as a last-ditch effort to undermine a man's credibility and provoke him into reacting emotionally. It's a transparent method to derail the conversation and regain control of the situation. Patrice's advice is clear. Don't take what a woman says in the heat of an argument personally. If she throws out insults or snide remarks such as, "Who hurt you?" "You must never get laid." Or, "You've got a little dick." Understand that she's not speaking from logic, but from emotions. Her feelings are temporary, and she's simply trying to knock you off balance. When you hear these words or these kinds of remarks, recognize that it means you've already won the argument. Instead of getting mad or taking the bait, stay calm and composed. Patrice suggested a clever way to maintain your upper hand. Respond with something like, maybe we should discuss that later when you calm down. This not only deflects the emotional attack, but also subtly throws her tactics back at her. Sure, she might be upset for a while and withhold sex, but you can rub one out like a man. That's the champagne of victory. The key is not to let her emotional outbursts derail your logic or pull you on the losing battle of emotions. Stay focused, stay in control, and recognize when you've already won. Checkmate. Women are naturally manipulative and play mind games, and they don't even realize it. Women aren't angels. They're master manipulators without even knowing it. That's just how they're wired. Patrice O'Neal. It's a mistake to think a woman is a pure angel or women as pure angels who are always acting out of kindness or innocence. In reality, women are naturally manipulative, often playing mind games to achieve their personal agendas. This isn't something to hold against them. It's just part of their nature. And women, like all humans, are driven to secure benefits for themselves, often in ways that are subtle and indirect. If a beautiful woman is with a man, you can be sure she's getting something valuable out of the relationship. This could be anything from financial support to emotional security. Men often underestimate a woman's ability to manipulate, especially if they are men of means and of resources. Patrice highlighted that men are typically more straightforward and less equipped to navigate the social games that come naturally to women. However, there's no point in resenting women for this. It's how they protect themselves and ensure their survival. And instead, as a man, your job is to recognize these manipulations and beat them at their own game. Not to harm, but to ensure a balanced relationship where you aren't taken advantage of. Women have an incredible capacity to rationalize away anything that doesn't suit them, which only amplifies their manipulative abilities. Common phrase like, be the man, a real man does this, or ladies first, are often used to manipulate men into behaving in ways that primarily benefit the women or the woman. If a man hesitates to commit, he might be labeled as childish or accused of having a fear of commitment. But as Patrice pointed out, if you've ever been told you're not man enough because you don't conform to these expectations, take it as a compliment. These manipulative tactics are designed to benefit the women or the woman, often at the man's expense, and recognizing and rejecting this manipulation is crucial for maintaining your self-respect and avoiding emasculation. It's not about hating women for their nature, it's about understanding it, accepting it, and not allowing yourself to be controlled by it. Here's womanry. Do you miss me? Women are the best terrorists. They hold sex hostage for their emotions, for your emotions. Don't fall for it. Patrice O'Neal. Men want sex. Women want time. The more time a woman spends with you, the more emotionally attached she becomes. A concept known as the mere exposure effect. The mere exposure effect is a psychological phenomenon where if you frequently see a person, object, song, or idea, you may begin to like them or it more, even if you don't have strong feelings initially. It's rooted in the idea that familiarity breeds comfort and positive association. That's why they play them damn songs on the radio over and over again, man. That's why they show the same damn commercials over and over again. Everything is so repetitive, over and over again. We've heard it over and over again, man. That's why they got shit like the work husband and shit like that, because you see them every day, over and over again. It's the same shit. This is why a woman's investment in a man tends to be more significant emotionally than a man's investment in a woman. Women often struggle with rejection, so they use subtle and direct methods to get what they want. Instead of being straightforward, they might ask seemingly innocent questions like, do you miss me? Hell no. This question is almost rhetorical, as there's no safe answer other than yes. Any other response could land you in the doghouse. Patrice described this tactic as a form of emotional extortion. Women use these questions to manipulate men into giving them the emotional gratification they seek, holding the relationship hostage in the process. And this is why he famously referred to women as the worst terrorists. They use your emotions against you, withhold sex, and demand that you cater to their needs. As a man, you must be the leader in the relationship to avoid falling into this trap. Don't negotiate with emotional terrorists by giving in to their demands. Don't negotiate with terrorists. What? Hell no. You want what? Nope. Oh, shit. Instead, take responsibility for the relationship by being honest and clear about your needs. Engineer your behavior and responses to align with your true nature. Ensure that the relationship is founded on mutual understanding and fairness. By leading the relationship with honesty and setting clear boundaries, you can create a dynamic where the exchange of sex and time is mutually beneficial. This approach increases openness and honesty, reducing the chances of emotional extortion and creating a healthier, more balanced relationship. Women will ask you what you're doing with an agenda. Women don't ask questions. They drop hints. They're trying to get you to do something without actually asking for it. Patrice O'Neal. My bad, man. This made me think about some shit I be telling my own girl. I be like, man, I'm bad on picking up signs, man. I don't know. I can't read none of that shit. You know, women be trying to, I guess, women be trying to be, I be telling all the time, man, I'm gonna be straightforward with me, man. I don't know all that shit. Don't be. I speak to people, I'm cordial and polite. How you doing, man? They speak to me all the time. I speak to people. I come from a place where we speak to people. But I don't know what your different looks mean. I don't know what none of that shit mean. I'm not that's not the if I'm supposed to know, I don't know. If you like me, you better say something. I don't know shit. I'm blind. I don't know what none of that means. Say it. Let me hear it. Like Hulk Hogan. Women will ask you what you're doing with an agenda. Women don't ask questions. They drop hints. They're trying to get you to do something without actually asking for it. Patrice O'Neal. One of the subtle tactics women use is asking seemingly innocent questions with an underlying agenda. When a woman asks you, what are you doing? And how you feel about something, she often has a specific outcome in mind. This is her way of getting you to do something for her without having to ask directly. For example, if you're driving with the window down, she might ask, are you hot? Hell yeah. Now, the window is down because you want the breeze, but the real intent behind her question is that she's cold. Instead of directly saying, I'm cold, can you roll up the window up? She hints at it to avoid the potential rejection of you saying no. You damn right I'm gonna say no. Because that's why I put it down with it down, because I'm hot. Patrice often pointed out that women struggle with direct rejection, so they use these soft, indirect methods to get to get their needs met. They prefer to hint and nudge you toward doing what they want rather than risk asking outright and facing a negative response. The key is to recognize this pattern and understand that when a woman asks you something, there's often more to it than meets the eye. Oh, they Transformers. Autobots, Transformers, more than meets the eyes. Women formers, manipulators in disguise. Chameleonaires fighting on the deep. Women foremost. The key is to recognize this pattern and understand that when a woman asks you something, there's often more to it than meets the eye. Don't immediately react to the hint. Instead, consider the underlying request and address it directly if you're willing. This approach not only helps you see through the agenda, but also allows you to manage the interaction more effectively, maintaining control and clarity in the relationship. Majority of women are typical. You think you're special, but you're typical. Patrice O'Neal. A typical woman, according to Patrice, lacks self-awareness and often drains a man's energy with her emotionalism. She navigates life as a sea of delusion. She navigates life in a sea of delusion, saying things that every other woman says without much thought or introspection. Typical women don't naturally grasp hypotheticals or abstract concepts. They're too literal, and their thinking often doesn't go beyond how they feel in the moment. One hallmark of the typical woman is her reluctance to admit when she is wrong. Accountability and responsibility are things she tends to deny and avoid, and only admitting fault when there's no other option left. This tendency to avoid self-reflection and responsibility is a common trait that makes many women, as Patrice would put it, typical. While all women share some common traits, there is variations among them, just as there is among men. However, the differences in women are often less pronounced, making the majority of women more similar than different. So, when Patrice talks about typical women, he's acknowledging that most women fall into this category, not as a minority, but as the majority. Recognizing this can help men navigate relationships with a clear understanding of the common patterns and behaviors that they might encounter. Typical girl shit. Typical girl shit. We're going to read about 2 more pages. Yeah, we're going to read about 2 more pages. And I'll stop it at the truth behind women's words. We'll stop it there. And pick up on the next episode. Typical girl shit. Typical girl shit is when you ask a woman her age and she says, "You don't ask a woman her age." They say things without even knowing why. Patrice O'Neal. Typical girl shit refers to the predictable, often illogical responses women give in certain situations. For example, when you ask a woman her age and she replies with the cliche, "You don't ask a woman her age." It's clear she doesn't even know why she's saying it. It's just something she's been conditioned to repeat. The reason behind this is often rooted in the desire to hide what they see as their expiration date, as if concealing their age will keep them perpetually desirable. Another example of typical girl behavior is when you ask a woman why her relationship is amazing, and she offers a vague response like, "We communicate and talk regularly." This kind of answer reflects how women often focus on the emotional context of the relationship rather than its actual content. Women have an overwhelming need to express their feelings and prioritize the context, how things feel, over the actual substance of what's being communicated. Men, on the other hand, find these topics of discussions laborious and exhausting. Men prioritize content, information, and facts, while women prioritize context, feelings, and emotions. The difference often leads to misunderstandings and frustrations in communication between the sexes. Understanding this typical girl shit is crucial for navigating relationships with women. It's not about dismissing their feelings, but recognizing the patterns and knowing how to engage with them without getting caught up in the cliches and emotional traps. The myths of the smart woman. The myths of the smart woman. The myths of the smart woman. My mustache is getting in my beard is getting in my face. Yeah, bum, bum, bum. The myth of the smart woman. I love intellectual women, but here's the thing. They think they're different, but they respond just like every other woman when it comes down to it. Patrice O'Neal. Patrice often debunk the myth that smart women are somehow different or superior to their more typical counterparts. Men might naively think that a woman with a PhD or a high-powered career is above the emotional games and instincts of the average woman, excuse me. They might believe because she's intelligent, she'll be more loyal, trustworthy, or rational in relationships. But this is a misconception. In reality, as Patrice will point out, is that the women are women regardless of their education or intellectual achievements. At their core, they share the same emotional instincts and tendencies as any other woman. Whether she is a doctor, a lawyer, or astronaut, CEO, her basic nature doesn't change. She'll still be drawn to the same things: your height, your strength, the way you make her feel safe. Smart women might have more self-restraint and a better ability to apply logic in some situations, but they are not fundamentally different from typical women. They still have the same emotional needs, the same desire to feel protected, and the same tendency to avoid responsibility, especially in relationships. Even the most intellectual woman doesn't want to be in a driver's seat. I don't know why it's a scat. In a driver's seat when it comes to her relationship with a man. She doesn't respect the man who answers to her. She sees him as inferior, driven by the same hypergamous instincts that guide all women. Patrice's wisdom here is clear. Don't be fooled into thinking a woman's intelligence or professional status makes her indifferent in her core nature. No matter how smart she is, she's still subject to the same emotional responses and instincts that define all women. Understanding this helps men avoid putting women on the pedestal simply because of their intellectual achievements and recognizing that at the fundamental level, all women share the same nature. We're going to stop there. That is part 4. That was part 4. That was part 4 of the book of Patrice O'Neal. The book of Patrice O'Neal, The Philosophy of Black Phillips, by Mr. Khaled Izaac, man. The sea of pages. The sea of pages that has been laid before us by Mr. Khaled Izaac. And so far, hey, what's some funny stuff there? Oh, it was some stuff I laughed at, some stuff I found funny in my own mind, maybe. Like hearing my papa. God damn it, Lily. And thinking about it now, it might have been something something that in the sense of what Patrice was talking about. You know, my grandmother asking my grandfather to do something, or asking something that, you know, she really wanted him to do. And he knew it, you know, and that was his response to it, you know. It's funny how well, I find it funny. I don't know about other people, man. I look at things different. I don't know. I might look at things like some people, but as I get older, or as I've gotten older, you know, a lot of things that I remember when I was younger, you know, I look at it through a different lens now. Okay, you know, when I was younger, I looked at it as a child through a child lens, you know. As I start going through certain things, and, you know, now I have my own children, and I've had my own children. I've gone through different things with different women, and, you know, all these different little in and out situations, marriages, you know, shit. Shit is crazy. I could see now things that might have been the shit that I went through, shit that I dealt with, some of the shit I may have dealt with, even a lot of the things that Patrice talks about in this book, or that is being talked about, that Patrice talked about in the philosophy of Black Phillip. You could see it. You could see it. Oh, this is what was going on back then. Oh, this what that was. I see it now. I see why that was that way. Okay. Papa was slinging that meat round up. Oh, man. Or whatever. This is what they were talking about, especially in songs. You know, listen to songs. You can see now, oh, this is what they was talking about in that song. Whatever. But hey, you grow, you learn, you grow. You learn, you grow, man. You learn and you grow. And especially if you have all you need to succeed, which we do. We have all that we need to succeed, man. First and foremost, if you can see, hear, think, feel, walk, talk, breathe, you have all you need to succeed. Even if you can't do some of them things, you still have all you need to succeed. You probably have double up on some of the things, or some of the other things, to compensate for the things you don't have. You know, you've become better and exceptional in other ways. You still have all you need to succeed. And you can succeed. One day at a time, one thing at a time. Succeed. We're moving along nicely. We're not halfway through the book. We're not even on we're on page 89. Page 89 of 333 pages. But I think we're moving along nicely. I think we're moving along nicely. Yeah, we worked our body, we worked our mind. Now it's time to work our body again on the way out. 25 things. We're going to do 25 things. Oh, I'm going to work this 50, man. I'm going to work this 50. 25 things. I'm going to work this 50. Still do 25 things. Yeah. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Let's get it. 9, 10, 11. You do 25 things, I'm going to do 25 things. Let's get it. Work our body, work our mind, work our body. 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. Who we? 21. Let's get it. 22. Pick it up. Pick that shit up. 23. Pick it up. 24. Pick it up. 25. There we go. I picked that sucker up. Pick it up. Hand it off. Pick it up. Hand it off. Pick that shit up. Get to work. I hope you did something. I hope you did something. Let's continue to build better habits. Let's continue to build better us, man. Continue to build better us, and I'm going to continue to be a SHILO. I'm going to destroy our worlds, baby. I'm out here destroying shit. Assassinating books, rolling through the sea of pages, man. One book at a time. One book at a time. One book at a time. Patrice O'Neal. Patrice O'Neal. Moving. We're moving along. We're moving along. We're moving along. Man, that's what it is. Catch me on the next episode, man. Like, comment, subscribe. Tell your people, man. SHILO out here reading shit. Reading shit, man. That boy reading. Bringing down the wickedness in high places. About reading. Doing his part. Mr. I'll read. Mr. I'll read. If you don't want to read, I'll read. I'll read it. I guess I'll read it. I don't want to read it, but I'll read. Shit. I'll read. Man. Hey, I really never, and when I started doing all this stuff, I really never really thought I'd be reading as much as I have been. But I'm happy about it. I'm happy about it. I definitely have grown my library or my book collection. And I'm definitely getting to a point that I wanted to be able to say in my mind that I've read almost every book in here. Almost. And it's getting to that point. I haven't read a lot of books I haven't read, but it's a good number. I have a good number. I have a good number down that for sure, since I started reading on YouTube, that I've been keeping track of for sure. And right now, we're on 24 books. This is book number 25. This will be book 25 right here. Man. Book 25. I'm proud of myself. Shit. Hell yeah, I'm out here reading shit. Yeah, we're going to keep pushing, man, one day at a time. One episode at a time, one book at a time, one chapter at a time, one part at a time. One page at a time, one paragraph at a time. Here a little, there a little, man, till we find what it is that we can learn and grow from in each one of these situations. Or what can we learn and grow from in each one of these books. So, man, catch me. So catch me on the next one. I'm not sure when it's gonna be, but hey, I'm gonna jump on this thing. I'm gonna read something. We're gonna try to finish up the book. Shalom, everybody. Hope y'all have a wonderful day.
And need to move the way up.
I'm out.
And need to keep calling me
SHILO. I'm out, yo.